Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Committee of Adjustment meeting for Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. Just before I start, I'll just do some introductions here. We have Member Allen, Member Clark, Member Dubik, Member Little, and myself as Member McQueen. I will be chairing this evening's meeting. So as I said, there was an agenda posted on our municipal website. So I'll call this meeting to order at 5 o'clock. So from there, is there any pecuniary interest with regards to the agenda that was published with members of tonight's meeting? Okay, one does arise, you can declare at that time. This public meeting was called to address a minor variance and two consents under section 45(2) and section 53 of the Planning Act. So then moving on to our agenda, can I get a mover and a seconder for the minutes of November 4th, 2025? Member Little, Member Clark. Any discussion in those on those minutes? Any errors or omissions of anything? If not, all in favor of those minutes? That's carried unanimously. All right, so moving on to our scheduled part of our well, first we have the item for consideration is 4.1, and this is with regards to the scheduled meetings. There was right through from January to December, usually the second Tuesday. Did everybody get a chance to look at those meeting dates? And if you did, can I have somebody move and second those dates? Member Allen, Member Dubik, any discussion on those dates? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried unanimously. So they will be scheduled in your calendar for the upcoming 2026 year. So going to then our new files, like I said, we have two files. And the first one is 5.1 is application A13 2026 213 Point Road. This public meeting was called under section 45(2) of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, as amended with respect for an application for a minor variance file A13 2025. Excuse me, affecting lands owned by Ross Neiman Hooper. I don't know if I got that in the right order, or we'll get that clarified. The legal description is lot 62, plan 840, Township of Artemisia, County of Gray, Registry Division of Gray, number 16, civic address is 213 Point Road. The notice of this public meeting was mailed by standard class mail on the 25th day of November 2025 to the property owner and to all property owners within 60 meters of the subject property, in addition to all agencies and persons identified in the Planning Act. Under the Planning Act, the applicant, the minister, or a specified person or a public body has an ability to appeal the decision of the municipality of Grey Highlands to the Interior Lands Tribunal. It is important to note that if you wish to be mailed a copy of the notice of this decision and you do not live within 60 meters of the subject property, you must provide your request in writing to the Planning Department of the municipality of Grey Highlands. Electronic registration does not represent your written request. Staff can provide direction to you in applying in writing for the request for notice. At this time, the municipal planner will advise of any comments received, provide an overview of the recommendations contained in the report. So I think we have Planner Salami.
Yep, thank you, Chair. Just, okay, next slide, please. Thank you. So for this application, A13 2025, it's on 213 Point Road, and the applicant is William Vandermeer. The proposal is to reconstruct and expand an existing rear deck. Over here, we can see the subject property in relation to neighboring dwellings. This is the site plan and the proposal. So the lighter gray in the center is the existing dwelling. The illustration in diagonal lines is the existing deck. And then the darker gray is the proposed new dwelling, deck. The existing dwelling is situated approximately 3 meters from the rear lot line and 9 meters from both interior lot lines. The proposed deck will be 9 meters from the northern interior lot line and 2 meters from the southern interior lot line. The existing deck is approximately 70 square meters in area. The new deck will be 128 square meters in area and would remain within the required rear yard at 0 meter setback and within 30 meters of the shoreline. With regards to the purpose and effect, the proposed minor variance seeks relief under Section 45(2) of the Planning Act from the Municipality of Grey Highlands Zoning Bylaw 2004-50 to permit the construction of a deck. The effect of the minor variance is to formalize and provide the following relief. Notwithstanding the provisions of Section 5.5C of Zoning Bylaw 2050, which does not permit buildings and structures to be constructed or altered within 30 meters of a high water mark of a cold or warm water stream or lake, a deck is permitted within 25 meters of a high water mark of a lake. Notwithstanding the provisions of Section 7.4.2G of the Zoning Bylaw 2004-50, which permits structures to have a minimum rear yard setback of 30 meters from the average high water mark, or 9 meters from the rear property line, a deck is permitted to have a rear yard setback of 0 meters. In terms of the comments received, Grey County Planning and Ecology have no concerns. Environmental Services at Grey Highlands have no concerns. Building Services have no concerns, but they do state they'll need to meet all applicable law prior to issuance of building permit. Fire and Emergency have no concerns. Transportation have no concerns. Grey Sauble Conservation Authority state if any work is proposed extends into the OPG land, approval from them will be required prior to issuance of the CA permit. And a permit is required under Ontario Regulation 4124 prior to construction. OPG have no concerns and the public have no concerns, and we haven't received any comments as of today, December 9th, 2025. And that is all.
Okay, and thank you for that. From committee members, any questions? There's quite a lengthy report there for members to read more information there, but any comments? And just clarity, normally we have the applicant to speak, but the applicant isn't speaking this evening. I understand as well. So any further questions or comments there? Okay, well, we'll go to the public process then, and we'll see if anybody from the public has any comments. Any person present wishing to object or support the proposed minor variance, please indicate and state your name and address. Madam Secretary Treasurer.
Thank you, Chair. Anyone currently in attendance wishing to speak on this file may use the raise hand function in Zoom to indicate their wish to do so. If you are connected to the meeting by phone, you may dial *6 to raise your hand. And we'll give it a little bit here. All right, Chair, it looks like no one has indicated their wish to speak at this time.
Okay, well, thank you, Madam Secretary Treasurer, and thank you, Planner Salami, for those points that you read and any comments that were received. Any further discussion from committee members for this minor variance, A13-2025? If not, your position on this application, Member Allen.
I support the minor variance.
Okay, thank you. Member Dubik.
I support the minor variance.
Okay, thank you. Member Clark.
I support the minor variance.
Thank you. Member Little.
I support the minor variance.
Thank you. I also support the minor variance, subject to a 20-day appeal period. If there are no appeals during that time, you may proceed with the application for a minor variance, and I deem this application is carried. Okay, thank you. So going back to our main agenda then, our next file is item 5.2. And this is with agenda item 5.2, application B18-2025 and B19-2025 for Lisa Mellon. And this public meeting was called under section 53 of the Planning Act RSO 1990 as amended with respects to an application affecting lands owned by Lisa Mellon and Barbara and Jeffrey Wilson, described as being for the retained lands. Legal description is part 10, part lots 2 and 3, part 1 and 2, reference number 16R6929 Grey Highlands, Civic address 174 Kincardine Street. The separate lands, legal description is Plan 10, East Part Lot 2, Grey Highlands. Civic address is 176 Kincardine Street. And the benefiting lot is legal description is Plan 10, Lot 1, Grey Highlands. Civic address 178 Kincardine Street. The notice of this public meeting was mailed by standard class mail on the 25th day of November 2025 to the property owner and to all property owners within 60 meters of the subject property, in addition to all agencies and persons identified in the Planning Act. Under the Planning Act, the applicant, the minister, or specified person or public body has the ability to appeal the decision of the municipality of Grey Highlands to the Ontario Lands Tribunal. It is important to note that if you wish to be mailed a copy of the notice of decision and you do not live within 60 meters of the subject property, you must provide your request in writing to the planning department of the municipality of Grey Highlands. Electronic registration does not represent your written request. Staff can provide direction to you in applying in writing for the request for notice. Again, I think the applicant is not available tonight to speak. It could change, but at this time, the municipal planner will advise of any comments received and provide an overview of recommendations contained in this report. I think Ashley, you were going to speak to this one. Planner Bibido.
Yep, this is mine.
Good evening.
All right, thank you, Chair McQueen. So I'm here to talk about the application number B18 and B19 2025. So go to the next slide. The address, as Chair McQueen had mentioned, is 174 and 176 Kincardine Street in Priceville. And the proposal involves a lot line adjustment to convey a portion of property to the benefiting lot to the west, resulting in 2 parcels of land with modified lot areas. The other aspect of this proposal, so the B19 portion of this consent, is recognizing the existing drainage patterns via an easement over 176 and 178, 178 being the benefiting lot. So the next slide actually shows you an aerial and the location of the subject property. So on the left side, you'll see the red area there. That's the property 174 and 176, so the retained portion, or retained and, yeah, the retained portion, sorry. And on the right, you'll see the proposed lot addition and the layout that's proposed. So you have the retained lands, the severed piece that's hatched going towards the benefiting lot. And then while we were reviewing this, this proposal originally, we did note that there was a drainage easement that essentially drains the retained portion all the way through. So we wanted to make sure that that was properly reflected so that if the owners of the severed and benefiting lot were to make any changes, it wasn't going to impact those upstream. So we'll go to the next slide. Just little things or little tidbits of things that I thought were important to consider when we were assessing this application, that there is no development being proposed at this point. There is a proposal for a garden, but nothing that would trigger a building permit. The lot area and frontage do meet the regulations in the zoning bylaws. There was no concerns there. And again, as I mentioned, staff did identify concerns related to drainage as part of this pre-consultation, and so had recommended an easement be added as part of the consent process. So before we get into the decisions, I'll just kind of summarize the comments that were received, and essentially all the way through we had no concerns raised from Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority or Grey County. The planning ecology staff and the transportation service didn't have any issues. Our internal departments, the transportation and public spaces, environmental services and building services also did not have any concerns. So no issues raised from our stakeholder comments. And so the recommendation here was that the consent application B18 be approved subject to the following conditions: payment of any outstanding municipal taxes, that B19 is confirmed, approved, and registered prior to proceeding, that the payment of the $300 severance application or approval fee be submitted, and that a reference plan be completed and a digital and hard copy be filed with the Secretary Treasurer of the Committee of Adjustment, or an exception from the reference plan be received from the Registrar. A draft copy of the reference plan be provided to the Secretary Treasurer for review and approval to registration of the survey. And then for the second part of the application, which is reflecting the easement for the drainage, that the consent application B19 be approved, issued by the committee, be approved, sorry, it looks like there's a spell or an error there. Be approved subject to the following conditions: payment of any outstanding municipal taxes, payment of the $300 severance approval fee, and that the reference plan be completed in a digital and hard copy be filed with the Secretary Treasurer of the Committee of Adjustment, or an exception to the reference plan be received from the registrar. A draft copy of the reference plan be provided to the Secretary Treasurer for review and approval to registration of the survey. And that is all I have.
Okay, well, thank you, David. Now, we don't have the applicant here to agree to those conditions, but I presume that they have agreed to those conditions?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, just before we go any further, I'm just going to go back to our committee members if they have any questions. I gotta change my screen here. There we go. Any questions from committee members? Member Little, I see that you have unmuted yourself. I don't know if you want to speak or not, but
No.
Okay. The question I have, maybe just to raise. So I'm looking at the map. I don't know if you want to pull the map back up or not from staff, but the part that's going to be severed and then moved to the adjoining lot. The severance is fairly close. That used to be the old store. Is that going to leave enough of a variance beside there for our zoning bylaws still as a side yard, or does that have to be recognized as well?
So that is something we did look at, and it met the requirements because there's already a minor variance for that retained portion in effect.
Okay.
So it was fine. There was no issues there.
Okay. We just don't want to create something that becomes a problem down the road or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
No, thank you for that. All right, going back to committee members, is there any further comments at this point? Okay, well, we'll move on our process here then. So then, this we're gonna bring it to my point here. We'll go to the public. So any person wishing to object, support, or have general questions on the proposed consent, please indicate and state your name and address. So, Madam Secretary Treasurer, do we have anybody wishing to speak on this applicant? There's actually two, but.
Thank you, Chair. Anyone currently in attendance wishing to speak on this item may use their raise hand function to indicate their wish to do so. If you are connected by phone, you may dial *6 to raise your hand. And at this moment, Chair, we do have the applicant, Lisa Mellon, who would like to speak on this
Okay,
item.
great. Thank you. Good evening, Lisa.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to let you know I am here and I am in agreement, and I believe the benefiting property owners are also here, and we are in agreement with the easement.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to double check with the conditions that are listed. They're pretty standard conditions, but that's great that you were able to be on this, and thank you for those comments. Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, going back into committee members, we do have the applicant here. Any questions, comments, concerns with regards to the Madam Secretary Treasurer.
Sorry, Chair. We also have Jeff Wilson, who would also is wishing to speak on this item.
All right. Good evening, Jeff. You're on mute there. There you go. Good evening.
Yes. Yes, we just wanted to say we're in agreement with the application as well.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. All right. Again, we have both applicant and receiving landowner to hear. Any questions from committee members? Okay. The report was very well written. Okay, then at this point, then if there are no other comments from committee members, so we have B18 2025 and B19 2025. So going to B18 2025 first. Your position on this one, Member Dubik.
I support the consent with conditions as read.
Thank you. Member Clark.
I support the consent with the conditions as read.
Okay, thank you. Member Little.
I support the consent with conditions as read.
Thank you. Member Allen.
I support the consent with the conditions as read.
Okay, thank you. And I also, Member McQueen, I also support the applicant as and with the conditions that have been read, subject to a 20-day appeal period once the information is sent out. If there are no appeals during that time, then you may proceed with completing the lot addition. And I deem B18 2025 is carried. Okay, and going to then B19 2025. your position on that application, Member Clark. You're on mute,
Yes.
Member Clark.
Sorry,
Yeah, now you were on mute, so go ahead.
I am in support of the consent with the conditions as read.
Okay, Member Little.
I support the consent with conditions as read.
Thank you, Member Allen.
I support the consent with conditions as read.
Okay, Member Dewey.
I support the consent with conditions as read.
Thank you. And as myself, Member McQueen, I support the application with the conditions that have been read, subject to a 20-day appeal period once the notice is mailed out. If there are no appeals during that time, then they may proceed with fulfilling the lot addition. And I deem B19 2025 is carried. Thanks everyone for that. So we just got a few more things on our agenda, which we need to go back to here. So just another business. So Member Little, I know at our last meeting, we talked a little bit about mapping. I saw on that one map, there was a more of a bigger map that Ashley had that sort of zoomed into the application. Is that, did that help? I know it helped me.
Yes, thanks for asking. And yeah, I appreciate that. It's nice to see the context of what we're considering.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
I always find too, sometimes I take the 911 number and I put it in my phone and it takes you there. It makes it handy that way as well. Any other business from committee members? I did want to ask that, I know we talked a bit about this at the last meeting. There was 3 lunchtime training sessions. I know, Member Allen, you had taken one. I was too busy to subscribe to those, but did you or others participate or follow up with those lunch meetings?
I sat in on all 3, and they are available. If you signed up for them, they are available online.
So one snowy day when there's nothing else to do, you could follow up, watch along. Did you find them informative or very informative, or did you know most of the stuff?
So.
Okay, or could you give the course?
Sorry?
Or could you given the could you?
No, not that knowledgeable, but
right.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes
it's okay. It was at lunchtime, so I
Yep.
ate my lunch while I was listening, and yeah.
And they probably did that, so it didn't take a lot of your time, but you're able to do that, and I think that was good. That was important for those that are able to have the time to do that. Okay, our next meeting is January 13th, 2026. I don't know, from staff perspective, do we have any files that are lining up for January? I see Andy. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you. Right now, we're seeing 2 files lined up and possibly 3 for next meeting. Yep.
Well, that just tells you that things are still happening. Keep you guys busy. Right?
Sure are. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Manager Payne. And so going then, I need 8.1. I need one more. I need a motion to move in second to the adjournment at 5:25. Who would like to do that? Member Dubik? Member Little? All in favor? That is carried. Well, everybody have a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and spend time with your family and give them all a big hug.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye for now.